Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Mace, we got RV, we got Carter, Bionic, Chef, Martin, JK. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for being here. Yes, I got my good buddy, Mythic AZ, coming on here to chop it up, all things Arizona Cardinals. I will be introducing them here in a little bit. Let me just give a real quick shout out to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Sleeper, looking for a brand new app to have a lot of fun with on Monday, Sundays, and Thursdays. Make sure you check out the Sleeper app using promo code AZSF. Get you a great promotion, 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first initial deposit. They got a really great game on there, highs and lowers. Try to make the best roster you potentially can to get a huge payout. Everything will be in the description below of this video. Shout out Sleeper. Thank you so very much. But let's get started here. Let me go ahead and bring in my guy, Mythic Justin, aka Justin. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. I'm ready. Good show today. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. You know, it's funny because when I reached out to you, it's like we usually have opposite schedules, but I'm so glad I think you're waiting for the opportunity to be like, let me just jump on here and let me rip it up. So I'm happy, man. Any chance we can go ahead and obviously, collab, we'll do it. We'll do it on your channel. We'll do it on my channel. If you guys do not know my guy, Mythic AZ, he does have his own YouTube channel on the road to 10K. So make sure you check him out. But I will go ahead and let you, shout yourself out and where else they can find you as well.
Perfect. You guys see the sign, Mythic AZ on YouTube. You can probably look up Mythic AZ on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, wherever you guys want. It's I'm Mythic AZ on X. It's Mythic AZ on Instagram. And then I believe it's Mythic AZ on TikTok as well. So if you guys want Cardinals content, NFL content, go ahead, check me out on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Also, hit subscribe on the channel right here. I will be appearing on here as well. Mike's got great Cardinals content as well on the road to 18,000. So hit subscribe. We're on the road.
Hell yeah, man. Have you gotten any Nike rivalry stuff by any chance? Just to kind of before we... Not yet?
I have not. I've seen unboxing and stuff of people getting stuff. Like, I think it was Tracy Cortez, a UFC fighter. She unboxed the Kyler jersey. There's somebody on X who had, I believe it was a Trey McBride one that I saw. They look pretty good.
They're
the
sick,
tortilla
man.
jerseys look pretty fire.
Dude, they're big difference between prices in two different jerseys. I just came to find out when I actually saw them physically at a team store. So there's the screen press one, and including the patches screen press. But if you get the collective edition one, it's the actual patch that looks so freaking sick, man. So darn cool. I'm so excited. I'm trying to cop myself a Trey McBride one a little later on. So fingers crossed that by the time I try to buy it, it's not sold out. But a lot of people have been going crazy for these Nike rivalry jerseys, and I got myself the helmet here. That's my very first purchase. I know you can't see it here, but yeah, I'm really excited about it. But let's dive into it, man. Let's talk about Cardinals versus Panthers. We all know that, the Cardinals are 2-0, which I don't want to... People feel like it's like, oh, it's not doom and gloom, right? But like these are the things that we have to talk about because the Arizona Cardinals are still kind of dealing with the struggles that's happened last year and now transforming into this year as well. It's like it's bleeding through and it all kind of surrounds the Arizona Cardinals offense. But before we get to that and actually focus on the offense, I want to talk about Cardinals versus Panthers because at one point, blinked your eyes, the Cardinals were dominating this team. It was 27-9 at one point, and we were feeling good, right? We were like, hell yeah, this is the David and Goliath story. It doesn't matter what the quarterback they got over there. We never could seem to beat the Carolina Panthers. Come to find out, we finally beat them. Everything was going good, and the fourth quarter happened. And then it was terrible. It just all these things ended up happening, and then the onside kick they recovered. It was just abysmal. Let me know your overall thoughts on this game and what the hell happened to get this Panthers team back into potentially winning this game.
Dude, holy crap. What I tell you, I thought we were going to go through the ultimate choke job. They get that onside kick, and I thought things kind of just hit the fan. I'm not going to lie. I was fully expected to lose. It was Josh Sweat that had the roughing the passer call, I believe. That was crazy, where Bryce Young hit as soon as the ball was released. There's nothing else you can do at that point, and they called the flag. It just felt like there was a hit in. I thought Vegas made some calls or something, because then you had the leverage call on Denver, too, and it just felt like everything was a full swing. Like, yes, it was a leverage, but I just felt like both games, it's just like Vegas had a call in. And I thought the Cardinals were ready to drop it just because the Panthers were +7 to win that game. I was like, either they're just trying to close the gap and trying to do something, but like, man, there was no reason for that game to be that close. Like, yes, Kyler threw an interception. That shouldn't have happened, but offense didn't touch the ball. Defense was on the field a ton. Flags were flying. It's just undisciplined football, and the Cardinals need to just put their foot on the neck of the team and stop playing conservative. I don't know what this passiveness is. I don't know why we're so scared to pour it on. It's the NFL. Crazy things happen. Be like Detroit, screw it. I don't care.
Yeah.
If it's a sorry poverty team, Bryce Young doesn't have confidence, put your foot on their neck and just kill them. Go put 40
Yeah,
on them. There's no reason to show mercy in the NFL. Screw that. I want the Panthers completely obliterated at that point. 27 points. Kyler had that stupid turnover, but like even before that, it felt like Drew Petzing just like doesn't trust his offense for whatever reason, and he kind of goes away from the things that were working. We were striking over the middle of the field, and we just go away from that. It makes no sense to me, and I just want to see him like, hey, this is working. Kyler looks methodical today. Let's just keep striking this and pushing the ball down the field. Let's just go ahead and kill him. The run game's not there. All right, audible. Drew Petzing doesn't know how to do that, though. I feel like the in-game adjustments don't happen. It's stick to his philosophy, let it roll. But Carolina, this should have been a game we poured 40, in my opinion. This is a 40 ball waiting to happen and at least a 20-point win. But instead, we win by 5 and almost choke the game and had me run around my apartment freaking the F out, basically, because I thought we were going to choke the game. And
yeah.
it went from a lot of positives to talk to I'm going to kill myself and I'm going to just come on here and rant away and just be pissed that we're 1-1. So thankfully we're 2-0, but it does not feel that way. And I think that's where me and you Cardinals fans, we're kind of like, hey, this isn't sustainable football. And if we
Yeah.
keep playing like this, we're going to lose games because we got a tough kind of stretch coming up soon. We got Indianapolis, Green Bay, Dallas, Seattle. Like, that's a tough stretch right there. And if we don't clean these things up and stop committing penalties, we had 12 and 9. 21 penalties for 2 games is unacceptable, undisciplined football. Got to clean things up. There's a lot of things I'm not a fan of, but we're 2-0, so it kind of wipes the ugly away, but a lot to correct.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think the 2-0, on the Cardinals. Like, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, we would rather be 2-0 than obviously 1-1, 100%. But I felt that same feeling too. Like, I didn't get nervous until that onside kick was recovered, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is it! Like, we are literally gonna choke this bad boy away." I was on a live play-by-play, and I kid you not, there was a time where the Arizona Cardinals actually stopped them on 4th down, but they got a flag thrown their way, and they got another opportunity before obviously the Calais Campbell ended up bringing them down. And then I ended up like leaving my body twice in the span of like 5 or 6 minutes because I thought we won. Holy crap, we didn't win, didn't win, and then it got crazy again when Calais Campbell ended up finishing up the game. But like, this was an unnecessary game to go to the level that we did. But seeing the stats is pretty appalling for me, at least time of possession. Like, you're looking at 33 minutes and 15 seconds for them to our 26 minutes and 45 seconds. It really kind of tells a tale of 2 different halves where the Cardinals were dominating in the first half, and in the second half, it did feel like we were looser. It felt like we're, playing less coverage or softer coverage on the defensive side of the ball, and we were not doing the things to be aggressive on the offensive side of the ball. The foot was taken off the pedal, and I do not understand why. I don't know if they looked at saying, "Oh man, we got Max Melton got hurt. Let's chill out a little bit." I don't know. I don't know what the situation is, but it's not just that because we've been seeing it all like last game and prior games. So I'm not going to blame the Max Melton thing, but like it's crazy and abysmal to me of how the performance was in the second half. I was so happy the first quarter, man, or the first half. It was so darn dominant. And then not just that, the penalties were so egregious. I agree with you. I feel like Vegas did make a call. These were so
100%.
soft, puppy, cupcake type of flags, especially that roughing the passer from Josh Sweat. That was ridiculous of a call from the referees. And then there was a couple other ones that I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on?
Denzel Burke's old, too.
Yeah, and it was what 12 penalties for us, 96 yards to their 7 penalties, 83 yards. It didn't make sense. Now, another thing I'm keeping my eye on as well, first downs. The Arizona Cardinals only had 16 first downs to their 26 first downs. Now, of course, they took a lot of time in the second half to make sure they get more and more plays, and that's probably what this discrepancy was. But overall, man, I want to be happy about this game. I really do. But we're not talking about a win against a team that's projected to be top 15 or top 10. We're talking about a bottom dwelling team, and that's back-to-back seasons or weeks with the Saints and the Carolina Panthers. So let me ask you this real quick. Power rankings are out right now, right? Everybody's putting their power rankings. I'm seeing the Cardinals right now at the 16th and the 18th spot in the lower parts of the teams. What say you? Where do you feel like the Cardinals should be ranked?
I guess that kind of depends where our cornerback health stands, to be honest. Because I think the offense, it's a lot of correctable things. I think losing our O line coach is really showing. And it's just, we can't get a run to pop off. Our run scheme has changed a ton, and it's no longer dominant right now, or at least for 2 weeks. It's correctable. But if our corners miss time, it's hard to want to put this team top 18. I think 18 is probably a good spot. You beat 2 sorry teams. You haven't proven anything yet. You won them, but very undisciplined, sloppy football against bad football teams. And it's just not sustainable. So I would say about 18 to 20 is probably a good range, or 18 to 18. That's just genuine because Garrett Williams and Max Melton, just hypothetically say they're out for the year, which is my projection. I think they're going to be out or at least placed on IR for a while. I think they are probably going to miss significant time. Will Johnson is a groin injury. Let's just say that's a month. Like this whole corner room is probably going to change. And I wish it was just the wind knocked out of them, but that groin injury hurts. It's like the Cardinals are depleted, and Walter Nolan's already out. Darius Robinson's not showing up. Calais Campbell's look like a freaking superstar at 39 years old, and that's all we got really going for us right now. The
Yeah.
secondary doesn't highlight Buda Baker, Jalen Thompson look good, but I'm not confident in this offense right now. I'm really not. And Drew Petzing just can't see a receiver open. A lot of things I hate. You got your superstars, but I don't know, man. I'd say 18 to 20, 18, 19.
Yeah, there's a little bit of I think the volume of your I think your mic might be messing up a little bit. So just I guess check on that real quick before when I kind of talk here real quick. But I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I initially put on my ex and Twitter because I think I forgot who I shared it. It was either like PFF or whoever's wrist like. But then everybody in the comment pretty much said the same thing. Where they're like the Cardinals haven't proved anything, and you're right. I mean, at the other side of the coin, I mean, you're right. You do see a lot of teams that are within the top 15 of these rankings that are 1-1 right now, but they have proven a lot more than the Arizona Cardinals have, unfortunately. And that's the nature of the beast that the Cardinals have had the luxury of starting off the season with two teams that are considered not good, right? With the Saints and the Panthers are now, 0-2 on the season now, where the Cardinals are advancing at 2-0. We'll take that in a heartbeat. But here's the thing. When it comes down to it, this is the big test coming in our way, week 3 versus the San Francisco 49ers. Are we good, or did we just benefit from the start of the season? Now, I don't want to talk too much about that game because we got a preview coming out a little later on tomorrow, but let's talk about this real quick. The injuries, right? You mentioned that. You touched on it. We got Max Melton hurt. We got Will Johnson hurt. Garrett Williams hurt. LJ Collier, which seems, I feel like, that injury is kind of, I'm not saying falling below the wayside, but like I feel like we're all focusing a lot more on the cornerbacks because there are our top 3 cornerbacks that literally domino effect one after another after another. If you were to tell me right now, who do you think is the worst out of the 3, what would that one player be that you're going to expect really bad news from?
Garrett Williams.
Yeah, agree.
Max Melton got carted off, but like sometimes it's not as serious.
Yeah.
But Garrett Williams could not get up, and he looked. I mean, maybe it's just I don't know. I don't know. Garrett Williams and Max Melton. I'm not expecting good news. So if anything positive comes out, then so be it. But I'm not expecting anything good or positive.
Yeah, I think the Garrett Williams is definitely going to be the dagger to the heart for Cardinal fans to really figure out what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do. Now, Jonathan Gannon did provide an update-ish. Didn't really give us too much information as to what's going on. He wants to obviously probably wait for tests and figure out what's going on. And he said he's going to a little later on in the week. But as a coach or as an organization, I feel like you would have a little bit of an insight to know a little bit of maybe what might be going on. Obviously, like you said, Garrett Williams was carded. I feel like that one looked a lot worse than Max Melton, specifically because Max Melton ended up coming out and celebrating with his team. I think at least that's what Theo Mackey ended up coming out of AZ Central. He put a tweet out saying that he came out and celebrated. He had a sleeve on his knee, but he seemed to be in good spirits. Well, Garrett Williams, on the other hand, I'm not sure if that's going to be good. Now, Will Johnson got hurt. I think the wind got blown out, taken out of him, came back in, then a groin injury happened. So I think they are all going to miss some games, but how much, right? How many games are going to happen? Now, I haven't heard anything, I'm not sure if you have, about the Cardinals working players out. I was hoping and expecting maybe by today or tomorrow at the latest, we're going to start bringing some people in. What say you? Do you think the Cardinals are going to be in a situation where we're just going to elevate the guys that we have, like maybe a Darren Hall, or maybe going after a veteran, right? Like I think you mentioned it, and then I put it on my video as well. Stephon Gilmore, looking at the available cornerbacks, he might be the best veteran out there to bring on this roster. But what say you?
I don't want anyone but Stephon Gilmore. And if I'm not mistaken, we haven't worked out any corners, have we? There were like 10 teams and the Cardinals weren't listed.
I didn't see anything.
I think there were 10 teams that worked out corners and we weren't one of them. So maybe that trends to be positive. Like either that or they're just like, hey, we're going to rock, which I think is a smart thing to do, is rock Keitrell, Elijah Jones, Enzo Burke. But then you elevate Darren Hall and it's like, you kind of got a glaring hole. And if our young corners are getting diced up and having no insurance, maybe you just rock that, right? For 1 week and just see what happens. But who else do you really elevate? Because we lost Sean Murphy Bunting before the year started, which we don't even know if he would have made the roster. But like that was just somebody who was deemed like starting corner, and then Starling Thomas, who was our starting corner. I think Will Johnson would have came in as like split reps and kind of gotten comfortable, but he was thrown in the fire. So we lost two guys who could have been starting corners for us. And then you lost three in a game, and we might not even be working out. So maybe that's a positive sign, but I'm not taking that as anything. So I think we need to bring at least one person in. I'm not a fan of Bradbury. I think Greg Newsome would be an interesting player. He's just on the last year, fifth year club option. So you have to understand that he might hit the market. You might not bring him back because you have guys, you have like four corners you're probably going to rock next year. And I don't think you're going to pay somebody. So that's a gamble. And then Stephon Gilmore is 34. But I think that's the best option you have in terms of veterans. I think Bradbury fell off a cliff once he had that all-pro season in Philly and they paid him. So I don't know. Like, I think Gilmore's the option. What do you think?
I mean, I don't really see anybody on here, to be real with you. I mean, you mentioned some names, right? James Bradbury, Kendall Fuller, Michael Davis, Emmanuel Mosley. Like, there's nobody on here that, like, I'm like, hell yeah, go after him. I mean, the only other name I would say is Asante Samuel Jr., but he's not ready to go yet. Like, I mean, all the reports are coming out saying that
Till
he's not.
October.
Yeah, until October. So, I mean, maybe the Cardinals sign him now and kind of stash him, because if you lose, let's say, for example, two of them, like let's say, for example, we lift the worst case scenario to like IR, right? And I'm saying maybe Melton and maybe Williams for maybe, I feel like Williams is going to be the worst out of all three if I'm going to be real. But let's say you do maybe sign him and put him on, I don't know. I don't know. Like right now we have three. And they're all fresh. They're all green, right? I mean, if you elevate Darren Hall, which I really do like, we and you both like him out of preseason, but like I don't think I've ever seen him in regular season football. But you never know what's gonna happen. But then if you do that, that's four cornerbacks. We're so injury plagued on these cornerbacks. I feel like you've got to have some sort of backup plan to that. Because what happens if you lose somebody else? Then you have no cornerbacks. You have no cornerbacks on this. Then you're rolling with the three, including your nickel, your two on the outside, and your nickel in the inside. And then if you lose another one, then you're down to those guys, and then you're kind of screwed. So I feel like you do got to bring in something like you said, whether it's going to be Stephon Gilmore or maybe somebody else. I mean, I don't know, man. This is such a tough situation for the Cardinals. I think Will Johnson will be back, and I have a feeling that Max Melton will be back. He might miss more games than Will Johnson, but I'm a little bit more confident in him. But this is a tough situation to be in, especially because we got the 49ers and then the Seahawks, which are set to be top 15 teams, right? We saw the power rankings. We know that, people are high on them. So it's a tough situation to be in, man.
Very tough.
Yeah, let me go ahead and bring this real quick. Let's talk about Petzing real quick, because I'm already seeing some people already hashtagging fire Drew Petzing in the chat here below. But let's talk about Petzing here real quick. I don't really want to talk about Petzing. I really want to talk about Marvin Harrison Jr., if I'm going to be real with you. Like, just what we've seen in the usage of Marvin Harrison Jr., and it's just not this 2-game sample size, is all last year as well. But we put it on the rug and said it's year one, right? The connection needs to build between Kyler and him. At this very moment, you talk to me. I mean, if you want to throw Petzing in there, you can. But what do you think is going on? Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before at all. Like, Marvin Harrison Jr. had over 800 yards in his rookie year. He's a capable wide receiver. What is with this connection that we cannot seem to get it right? Go ahead.
I don't think it's the connection between him and Kyler, to be honest. I think the progressions and the way this offense runs, it's not catered to the wide receiver. And I was pro Emeka Buka, but if you put him in this offense, he's not getting looked at. The slot receiver never targeted. Michael Wilson's averaging 1 reception a game, and Marvin Harrison's averaging 5.5 targets a game. I'm going to throw out a name, and I want people in chat to guess. I want you to guess. How many targets do you think Ricky Pearsall's gotten through 2 weeks so far per game? His average.
Targets? I would say
targets per game. Ricky Pearsall.
8?
Higher.
Really?
Higher.
9.
12. Like 12 and a half, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Malik Neighbors is about 12 and a half too, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull Malik Neighbors up because I know for sure. So Malik Neighbors in 2024 had 11.3 targets per game, finished. Marvin Harrison, 6.8. In 2025, Marvin Harrison, 5.5 targets per game, and Malik Neighbors is at 12 and a half. And the thing that's tough with this is anything Marvin Harrison Jr. does, or if he messes up, it's under such a microscope because he had that drop in the comeback, which you need to come down with that. I'm not making excuses. The lob pass to the back of the end zone, instead of fading back, I need you to come jump up for the ball and attack it. Even if you're going to use your body, attack it. You don't have to high point it. I'm not asking you to go high point the football when it's a corner fade and the ball is thrown like that. I need you to go be aggressive and not fade to the back and let the DB even get his hand there. If he's going to get his hand in there, draw the pass interference. Jump towards the ball. Go be aggressive. That's on him. But like the connection between him and Kyler is just fine. I genuinely believe that. I think they have built that chemistry. But I think when Drew Petzing has come out and he said Marvin Harrison's going to get the ball, when he gets the ball, we're going to play football the right way. And then Jonathan Gannon comes out and he's kind of like, yeah, we need Marvin Harrison to get the ball. Well, you're the head coach. Like, instill this in your offensive coordinator. Hey, we're going to win if 85 and 18 get the ball in the pass game. And like, yes, Michael Wilson needs more involvement too, because 2 receptions, I believe, is what he has in 2 weeks so far is unacceptable. Zay Jones, I feel like he just is doing cardio. Greg Dortch is doing cardio. Like, it's just, it's not their fault though. Yeah. Like, it's not the wide receiver's fault. You plug any receiver in here, any quarterback into this scheme, like no matter who you want to blame, the wide receiver is not getting separation, which they're not really doing much, but like the route combinations are horrid. And yes, there's some throws that Kyler misses, some progressions, but it goes to the tight ends. And I feel like the running back in the backfield is always second option. Like, it's always second option on like a running back curl 5 yards and they have to go make a play. It's like, we're not seeing it. And we know that Kyler can play football. We know Marvin Harrison can play football. We know Michael Wilson can play football. But when your offensive coordinator has no pass scheme, and the best thing about this is I saw a clip of Britton Golden, the guy who played for the Cardinals, by the way, wide receiver for the Cardinals, saying that this scheme is not sustainable. You should probably take it from him. I've been preaching this for forever, but it's like, hey, there's people who play in the NFL, who have played in the NFL, that are attesting to the same thing, saying our offensive coordinator is not going to pan out and it's not a playoff offense. We should probably listen to that guy a little more than just casual X fans, or even you and I who are just content creators, someone who knows way more than we do. But the eye test is backing it up that Drew Petzing sucks.
Well, let me ask you
the end of the day, point blank, period.
Let me ask you this real quick then. If that's the case and it's not sustainable, right? Let's say we're living in that world that it's not sustainable. If this continues, then what say us about Jonathan Gannon for allowing this to happen and not having him do that, right? And I'm not saying fire Jonathan Gannon. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying, don't we put enough heat on him, or shouldn't we put enough heat, or should we put heat on him as well? Because he's allowing this to do it is under his watch, right? So it's not just Petzing, because you're the head coach. We've seen Jonathan Gannon come out and put the blame on himself. Everything is on my shoulders, right? He also came out and talking about Jonathan Gannon and said he pretty much contradicted himself. And I'm not sure if there was a quote on, I think it was Theo Mackey of AZ Central. He ended up coming out and says, like, he recognizes what's going on, but like the ball should go where the ball should go. But he also doubled down and says, but I understand when he gets the ball, our offense is at a premium. Okay, well, that's it. The offense is at a premium when you got your number one wide receiver throwing the ball to. But like, as we were saying, right, if we're just taking a look at these stats, like Ricky Pearsall, you mentioned, I'm seeing here on ESPN that he's had a total for 2 games, 13 targets only. I'm not sure where you saw that. Maybe you were seeing on
last game. Sorry, last game.
Last game.
He had 13 targets.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, 13 targets total for 2 weeks.
Crazy.
Pearsall, which I will take because the majority of that is going to be in one game, right? But like, I'm not even talking about Malik Neighbors, where he's at 25 targets. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 23 targets. Puka Nacua, 20 targets. CeeDee Lamb, 20 targets. And you got Marvin Harrison Jr. down here with 11, dude. 11 freaking targets for Marvin Harrison Jr. You picked him with the 4th overall pick, and you're accepting this under your watch. I'm looking at Monty. I'm looking at Jonathan Gannon too. I'm saying, fix this. You know there's an issue here. Why aren't you fixing it? And then I know he's giving full autonomy over to Drew Petzing, but if he truly, and I'm talking about Jonathan Gannon, right? If he doesn't feel like it's sustainable, then why isn't there a move being made? I mean, he somehow feels like it's sustainable. I don't understand it myself, but how is this even acceptable for your 4th overall pick to get 11 catches? And let's put this into perspective too, right? Because I'm seeing the chat, people saying, or even on my X saying, oh, he can't catch the ball. He's got butterfingers. Oh, he sucks. Or he's this. But look at this. Malik Neighbors had 25 targets, right? 14 receptions. 14. You know how many balls that he was thrown his way and he did not catch? No wide receiver is going to give you 25 and 25. Nobody's going to give you that. There's 11 balls between that discrepancy that he didn't catch. But guess what? They're giving him the opportunity to do that. They're not doing that with Marvin Harrison Jr. Why? That's the question out there. I don't get it.
I have some. When was the last time you've seen? Because in my opinion, it's just like Larry Fitzgerald. We watched it when Larry Fitzgerald wasn't involved. Do you remember what they would do to get him in the game? What would they do when Larry Fitzgerald was quiet? What would they do?
Slot, screens.
They either put him in the slot or they'd run a wide receiver screen, get him a touch, let him get freaking comfortable. That's what I was looking for. They would run a screen. If Larry Fitzgerald shut out, get him the ball. You know why? It builds the confidence of your star wide receiver. And once you feel the ball hit your hands and maybe you turn that into 5 or 6 yards, at least you're on the board. If you're just completely shadowed, your confidence is in the gutter. This is a young wide receiver. He's a star, and we're getting him 5 targets a game. Like, it's just unacceptable. And the people who are saying it's Kyler's fault, it's the receiver's fault for not separating. I think the receivers not separating do play a factor. But this scheme is the biggest factor, because if you run a Cliff Kingsbury style offense, and yes, I'm throwing Cliff Kingsbury out there. You guys know as a head coach, I thought he was awful, but as an offensive coordinator, he is solid. He's not fantastic at running both. He was kind of a pushover, but like, just let's run the air raid system, right? The pass game will look great. And that's just what it is. And he could do it with these wide receivers, is the sad part. It's really embarrassing, in my opinion. I don't want Cliff back. I'm not saying that should have been the move we're making. I just think Drew Petzing has to go. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, we're 2-0. Why would you pivot? I just don't think they have the balls to do that, even though they know it's a problem. Maybe they don't see it as a problem, because I have the quote from Jonathan Gannon right here, and you're right. It does contradict. It says, I never really look at targets as what needs to happen. The ball is going to go where the ball is going. Also, this is the second part where he contradicts himself a little bit. With saying that, I know he needs to touch the football for our offense to be at its premium. So when does it get to the point where, as a head coach of this team, you're like, hey, Drew, 85, then 18. 85 needs 10 targets. 18 needs 8 targets. Like, let's up the targets 3 more, right? At least to 8. If Marvin is anywhere under 8, it's unacceptable. Trey McBride should be the focal point of this offense. I agree 100%. Michael Wilson, fair. Maybe that's 3-4 targets, a slot 3-4 targets, Marv 8 to 10, Trey McBride 10 to 12. And you're passing the ball however many times, but like, unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and here's the thing. Tetairoa McMillan, rookie, right? 19 targets already, 11 receptions. 19 targets of Tetairoa McMillan, another first-round pick. And I'm not even going to read my league neighbors. We know he's an anomaly. He's a really good player. I don't want to take anything away from him. Let's go after Roma Dunze. 20 targets, 13 catches. Like, come on, Roma Dunze. Like, and Roma Dunze is a good player, too. I'm not going to, come on, say there. I like Rome, right? But Marvin Harrison Jr. is being treated like he is this redheaded stepchild that they do not want to throw the ball to. And I don't know, like, it's hard for me to point the finger at anybody. I don't get paid to do that. That's their job. But I think it's our job to put the flames in the fire on these guys to really figure out what the hell is going on. This is not just 2-game sample size, which I saw somebody in the chat a little earlier saying, it's just week 2. Guys, this has been happening since last year. This has not been something like just, this has been something happening since last year. It's just the wide receivers in this scheme, or the way this offense is called, are not being thrown the ball to. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But at the end of the day, man, I hope that we can get to a realization as to figuring out why. Trey McBride has received the ball 16 times. That should be over 20. Like, Trey McBride should even get more than 20.
100%.
Right? He's got 16 targets, 12 receptions right now. And I know there was I believe it was week 1 where there was a couple balls thrown his way, right? And he didn't get it. And we said it. You should have caught that ball, Trey. You should have caught that. But like, that's not saying you suck. That's not saying, it's just, you should have, that's on you. That's not on Kyler. That's on you. They were right in your midst, just like we did in week 2 with Marvin Harrison Jr. They were very catchable balls that if he did something different, he probably could have come down with it. That's on Marvin Harrison Jr. And I've said this too. I think Kyler Murray played a pretty solid game, if I might say so myself.
He played a solid 2 games, in my opinion. He's looked really good. Turned the ball over once, really dumb, but and that interception, he said he tried to throw it away. I came out, you either got to eat that sack or throw it away quicker.
That's what JG said.
That's a criticism there. But at the same time, Kyler is the reason we won the first game, in my opinion. A lot of people disagree with that, but the offense sucked. The run game got blown up. The run game didn't exist again, and we won. Guess what? Defense played really good in both games, in my opinion. People are flaming the defense too. But Kyler Murray, if he doesn't exist and isn't our quarterback, we're losing both games. And it is what it is. He's played great games, and people are like, "You're glazing." No, I'm just not an idiot. Like, you know what
Well,
I mean? I have eyes
well, here's
that
the
see
thing.
this. It's like I'm seeing what everybody else is seeing, and it's
Yeah.
like this offense sucks. Like it's really, really bad. I want the best for this team. I want to be in the playoffs, but it's just not sustainable. Like
Well,
I
let,
want him to be better.
let me ask you this real quick, right? We talked about this a little last week where I said, do you think that Drew Petzing doesn't truly believe in Kyler Murray, right? We touched a little bit on this, and I want to obviously talk about it a little bit more, maybe a little bit more detail, because it's the same thing happening, right? Deja vu. Not only did we remove our foots off their necks, I'm talking about the Panthers, and remove our foot off the gas pedal this last week, but there needs to be something to be said about this topic should be talked about. Do you truly believe that Drew Petzing doesn't believe in Kyler, or do you think that he thinks he's going to mess something up? Like, do you think they're playing cautious because of Kyler Murray? Or like, what say you on this whole topic? Because the same thing happened that we talked about a little. We didn't dive into it last week. We just kind of mentioned it. But now it's kind of getting to the point where, like, man, this is not okay. Like, we're
Mm-hmm.
going to be playing a potential playoff team in the 49ers when healthy, right? This is going to be a big
Yep.
test. I think the bigger test is the Seahawks, if I'm going to be real. But this is going to be a big test coming our way. If it looks exactly the same, there's going to be a lot of pissed off fans, man. And I put this on X and Twitter. You watched the game on TV. I watched the game on TV. Did you notice there was a lot of empty seats? Now, I will give the benefit of the fact. I'm not sure if you saw the tweet that I posted. There was a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's not." That's. I think the people were taking the photo that I had and saying that's how it looked like all game long. No, that's not what I meant to say. And if that's what came out, I apologize. That's not what I meant to say. What I meant to say was there was a lot of empty seats when prime filled was on. There was a lot of empty seats, Cardinals versus Panthers. Now, whether it's because the Panthers aren't a good team, and we know that the Cardinals fan base usually doesn't fill up that stadium unless it's like the 49ers coming or the Green Bay Packers coming into town. But like, what did you think overall with the amount of people that showed up in State Farm Stadium in our home opener?
It sounded loud from what you heard on Twitter. I mean, Froholt came out, said the crowd was jumping. Jonathan Gannon, I think, came out and said the crowd was jumping. And Keytrell, I don't remember who it was. He said one of them, somebody on defense, I believe, also came out and said that the crowd was going crazy. If you go rewatch the clip of the fumble, it was roaring, in my opinion. I don't know what it looked like
Yeah,
picture wise. I don't know. But from the sound of it, it didn't sound like it was dead, which is nice to at least see. I guess we'll see how it pans out for the rest of
yeah.
the year. But it sounded at least like there were fans in there and getting it jumping. But
No,
like,
well, I mean,
there's no
I don't think there's a
disappointment.
debate that if the fans were there or not. There was fans there. It's just there was a lot of empty seats, is what I'm saying. And I guess let me preface, right? I did hear Jonathan Gannon and Calais Campbell come out and say that yeah, it was rocking, and when they made plays, it was popping up there. But the sections, and if you look at the 400s, and maybe that's just something in my mind works. I like to look at stuff like that when I'm watching TV. It's something that I kind of noticed. There was a lot of empty seats in the 3 or 400 sections, 300 section, whatever the hell you call it on the top, the nosebleeds, and even within the bottom tier. Like it's just didn't really fill up as much as I thought it was going to. If I'm going to be real, for your home opener, I don't know if this Valley or the Cardinals fan base. Like what do you think in your comments and what you've been seeing? Do you think people are bought into this team right now?
I would say so.
You think so?
I mean, it's very early. We're 2-0. There's no reason to not be bought in my opinion. But I guess you never know. I mean, we'll see how it goes for the rest of the year because our next home game is week 4, right? Because we're on the road. Is it Seattle where we're at home week 4, and then we
Yeah,
have the rivalry
Thursday
jerseys?
night. Uh-huh.
Yes. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. That'll be like a huge, I guess, factor. I mean, we're rocking brand new jerseys at
Yeah.
home on a Thursday. Like, all eyes are going to be on us. So that's going to be a game that I guess we'll figure that out, which
Yeah.
I'm
I think it really
fingers
does
crossed.
depend. It depends. Like the Panthers aren't a big fan base. We know what their expectations are. There's not a lot of Panthers fans here in the Valley, and I think that's kind of what played a factor into it. So you're right. I mean, let's see what the other games hold. I mean, it probably will fill up a lot more than it actually was. At least what my visuals are. But I mean, I think it did get loud. There was a lot of crowd there that obviously were Cardinals fans that were happy, especially in the beginning part of this game. That Sweat had himself a sack fumble. Zayvon Collins ended up catching or recovering it and taking it to the house. And then the interception from Baron Browning, which is really a good play as well. Let me ask you this. You mentioned a little earlier. You said they don't have the balls to do it. Talking about the Arizona Cardinals to fire Drew Petzing. When do you think it's too much? Do you think it will ever happen? Or do you think it will get to the point where the Cardinals need to like really collapse to in order for this to happen?
That's the unfortunate part is I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess it would take a blunder for us to probably pack him up, which is it's just so unfortunate because I don't think it'll happen. Like
Yeah.
he went for a head coaching gig with the Bears, and the Bears are like, we don't want him. Like the interview didn't go well. We don't. Let's pivot. And they did. I mean, it just didn't happen. So, like, I just don't think Drew. I don't think Drew Petzing's dumb necessarily. I think his run scheme is solid, but I think a lot of that panned out to our offensive line coach making that work. And he's not here anymore. And the run is struggling. So it's like, what is Drew Petzing scheme right here? He was a tight ends coach in Cleveland. He was a QB coach right after that for Cleveland. He's come here, looks solid for. He was here 2023, I believe that was Josh Dobbs' first year, and it just seemed like the creativity was there, and then it kind of just went away for whatever reason. Like as soon as you get a superstar quarterback in here, it's like you just lost trust. But the guy who was passing for 50%, 52%, you just couldn't get anything going. You have a guy who was like 15 to 16, 17% more completion percent, is actually making better reads, actually getting in the end zone, throwing less interceptions. And it's like you just don't, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with him, but it's like I don't know what it's gonna take either.
Yeah.
Because is it gonna take a blunder? Do we want to risk that? But it's like at the same time, can you really warrant firing someone if it goes 2-0? If you go
I don't
two and
think so.
zero, because you can't do that. You know
You
what I
can't.
mean? You do
Yeah.
that and it backfires on you, then you would look like the idiot, and then you're under heat. Like I
Yeah.
get it from you can't do that. Absolutely can't because everyone's gonna be like, "What?
Yeah.
You just 2-0 and you fired your OC? Like, are you dumb?" And then let's just
Right.
hypothetically say we go 0-2 in these next games, and the offense looks bad. You can't do that. Like from a professional standpoint and keeping your job, it's dumb. Even if you know it is in the best interest of the team, you can't do it because who are the best options now?
Yeah.
Whipple might have been nice to let him. I saw something on X. You know how they like to experiment. We're out of the playoffs in the last 2 weeks of the season. Why don't we let Whipple just take over as OC? We like to experiment in preseason. Why not experiment in the back end? Maybe he cooks up. The pass game looked good when Kyler was calling it too, and Cliff stepped out. So it's like maybe I don't know if they would ever just like I don't know.
I know. I mean,
Kyler
I,
just
I
all
kind
the
of.
plays, just audible everything out. Like just audible what you feel like
That's
is
funny.
best.
Well, I mean, I was somebody on X let me know that the Cardinals need to fire him, and I think the truth of the nature, they're not going to fire him when you're 2-0. They're not going to fire him if the
No.
Cardinals are 3-1. It's just not going to happen. You're winning games. That's exactly what's going to happen. And I don't think they will. I don't think they will do it halfway through the season either. I think the Cardinals are still going to be winning games. It's just the unfortunate nature that we're getting looked at as a very not smart offense dysfunctional organization again, and maybe it might be one and done in the playoffs. I think we're still going to win a lot of games. Now, playoffs is going to be tough. I still need to see us win November and December footballs in order for me to plant my stake there. But I think we're going to win more than 7, 8, 9 games. I really do. I
I
truly
think we
believe
got
that.
10.
But yeah, here's the thing. We got Champion in the chat says Petzing looks like Brain from Pinking the Brain. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. But I mean, when it comes down to it, man, Petzing, he has had a really good run game. That's what made him come back this year. His run game was dominant. The problem that we're also dealing with now is that the run game is not that great right now. The run game has been very lackluster, to say the least. Unfortunately, James Conner hasn't looked that great. Benson has been pretty solid here and there with a couple big runs, but if it wasn't for those big runs or Kyler Murray's runs, we wouldn't be averaging really good run attacks when we're a run-heavy offense. So what happens when you're a run heavy offense and the offense doesn't work? It looks bad. It looks bad, like it's looking right now for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I want to shine this graphic that you brought to my attention. It's the 2025 wide receiver fantasy usage by team. I want to give you some opportunity to go in here and explain what you're seeing here. And if you're a fantasy football fan, Justin can help you out if you're a rut. Hopefully,
Look
let's check.
away. Look away if you have any Cardinals receivers. I mean, if you guys are I have Marvin Harrison Jr. in one of them.
Oh God.
And, after getting 6 targets and coming down with 5 of them, I believe is what he had in week 1, I was a little more optimistic. It wasn't a ton of targets, but he came down with the majority of them, even scored a touchdown. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe there's some optimism in growing into this that I can buy into. And then he pops out for 4 points. And as you guys see, the Cardinals are at the bottom. And Philadelphia has Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. If you guys know, not the biggest Jalen Hurts fan. I think he's the
Yeah.
most overrated quarterback in the NFL. He wins games, but I feel like a lot of quarterbacks to be on that team and win games too. Tush push merchants. You guys see Their usage for wide receivers are not up there. A.J. Brown is struggling. Devonta Smith is in there. And he had a really nice catch where Jalen Hurts actually threw a good ball. But as you guys see at the bottom, Philly, 13.3. The Jets, they suck. Justin Fields is their quarterback. The Cardinals, I don't feel like are in that problem. I feel like Minnesota, they have a young quarterback and they're struggling. That's why they're struggling. Pittsburgh, they're kind of just jack of all trades, have a better offense. But then it jumps up to almost 24. We are stuck at 16.7.
That's crazy.
It's unacceptable. Our receivers don't do anything. Michael Wilson has 2 receptions in 2 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
He's your wide receiver 2. What are we talking about? What other offense is this acceptable? Like, what other offense would we be here and like, oh, it's okay that our wide receiver 2 is useless and our wide receiver, our slot is just doing cardio. It doesn't matter. They're just running and blocking all game. I'm sure they're having the time of their life as receivers. At some point, ego is going to kick in and they're going to check out if they're having a reception a game as a wide receiver too. What are we doing?
Do you think Marvin Harrison Jr., now we're all humans, right? Like you just said, sometimes they might check out. Do you think sometimes Marvin Harrison Jr. says to himself, I'm not getting this freaking ball anyways? Well, like, what's the point? Like, do you think that happens or that goes through his mind sometimes? Not all the time, but like, do you think?
I mean, I'm sure at some point, just from like a pride standpoint or an ego standpoint, everybody in the NFL is like, okay, it's time that I get the ball. I'm wide receiver 1 on this team. But Marvin Harrison Jr. also doesn't have an ego. I don't think he has that diva in him.
Yeah, true.
Malik Neighbors has that diva in him. He had like 10 targets and he's still on the sideline like, Brian Dable, get the F away from me, piece of shit. Like, I'm done with you. Like, he didn't even dap him up and he had like 8 targets at that point. And I'm like, could you imagine Marvin Harrison Jr. coming to the sideline and warranted when Drew Petzing's like, hey, Marv, right here, you missed an assignment on the – like, get the out of my face. Like, what are you talking? 0 targets in 2 halves. Or like, I just popped off in the second quarter for 70 yards and now I'm not going to get a look for the rest of the game. And knowing that must suck. Like, in the second quarter, I just had 5 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown, and then now I'm just not going to get looked at. Like, all right, well, it was fun. Time to go block. Like, I can't wait to just go block. And if it works, it works. But the run game is not working through 2 games.
Yeah.
I get you have this philosophy you want to run the football, and I was preaching that we should. Try to just chew the clock. Go run the football. But if it's getting blown up, why are we running James Conner for 2 yards when there's no hole? Why are we going to run the same play and pick up 3 yards when there's no hole? Oh, you know what? We'll give it to him again. Like, just adjust at some point. Like, all right, maybe the run's not working here. I know halftime adjustments are overrated, but it's like, all right, let's change the game plan up a little bit. We know their tendencies, we know their scheme. We've been prepping for them all week. Let's adapt a little bit. Like, we got Kyler at quarterback. We're cool. We got Trey McBride, the top 2 tight end in the league, top 3 tight end. Let's run him. Marvin Harrison Jr. That's a guy that if you don't believe in him and you picked him with number 4, you're just an idiot as a franchise. Like, clearly there's belief in him as a talent. And Kyler Murray's still the quarterback. There's belief there within the organization. Trust your players and just adapt. You have to adapt in the NFL.
Yeah, 100%.
That is something you got to do.
I just realized that on the screen, it doesn't show the Arizona Cardinals. That is on me. I do have somebody in the chat say scroll down. So let me just, I've been trying to scroll it down. I can't do it for some reason, but let me paint the picture for you. Right now, what you guys are seeing is the Minnesota Vikings. Right under them is going to be the Steelers at 18.8. You got the Cardinals at 16.7. You got the Jets at 15.6. And then you got the Philadelphia Eagles at 13.3. So right now, per this graphic, you're seeing the Cardinals at the 3rd spot in terms of wide receivers getting the most PPR fantasy points. Now, obviously, like, we're breaking it down to fantasy, and some people don't play fantasy, so it's not, that big of a deal. But like, if you really look at this chart here, which is going to be from ESPN, and this is the link that I sent you, so I don't know if you want to follow along, but we got Malik Neighbors here with the crazy amount of targets compared to, Marvin Harrison Jr., where he's way down here in like the 50 area with 11 targets, right? Like, this is crazy. You even got Romero Dobbs at 9 targets compared to Marv's at 11, right? You got Zach Ertz, a tight end that was the Arizona Cardinals tight end, at 13 targets. Stephon Diggs washed 12 targets, right? Like, it's crazy to see that this offense, right? It's not working, man. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I might be one of the few, and I still do believe it, and people do not like when I say this. I think it's an accumulation of everything. I do. I think it's everything. Everybody has a hand to play, and I think that's why it makes it so hard to figure out. I don't think it's just scheme, because I think that any brilliant guy would be like, okay, well, this is how you fix it, right? Well, I mean, scheme is so complex. So it's not like it's going to be an easy fix. So I guess let me just retract that
No.
back. I think it's an accumulation of a lot of different things. I think the offensive line, specifically on the right hand side, has not been very good.
Oh,
The
yeah.
run game has been horrendous, unfortunately. I love James Conner still, but it's not been great, especially if that's your identity. Separation is a play as well. I do think decision making on the field, play calling, situational play calling, Drew Petzing, I think everything's in play. And I think that's why it's so hard to crack this code, because there's a little of everything that happens that we just can't seem to figure out. And I think that's what's happening right now with the Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately. I do got a super chat coming our way from Eddie. What's up, Eddie? Appreciate you, man. He's saying this. This year marks 100 years since the curse of the Maroons. So maybe if Bidwell gives the championship back to Pottsville, we'll finally be great. Well, I'm not trying to get rid of the Cardinals as Arizona. Like, I obviously want to keep them here. But let's continue this conversation here with Marvin Harrison Jr., man. What do you think we need to do? Is it as simple as force feeding, scheme them up, give them some wide receiver screens, some simple hook routes? What say you if you were Drew Petzing?
I think the scheme just has to change. The passing scheme has to change, and you have to run a more balanced offense. It's not catered to that. It's not catered to feeding the receivers the ball. It goes to the tight end. That's first progression. And I feel like it's everything outside of that. You just hope for the best. I feel like the routes are not sustainable for receivers to get open. I think it caters to the tight end. As we saw, Elijah Higgins had the second most receiving yards on this team. There's a reason for that. It's because it's catered to the running backs and the tight ends. I believe Trey Benson was third, and then James Conner had like 4 receptions in week 1. So, like, it's catered to the running backs and the tight ends. It's like Marvin Harrison Jr. is kind of playing third fiddle. And then outside of that, it's just like you got Zay Jones and Michael Wilson who are just there. Someone in the chat, I read this. Let me see if I can find it. He said, it was We Rep AZ. He said if Zay Jones doesn't get on the plane to San Fran, the whole coaching staff wouldn't notice. And I mean, you probably wouldn't. You'd be like in mid-game, like, oh, we're 17.
That's funny.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. He's not getting the ball anyways. We're
That's
good.
funny.
Hey, Greg, go block. You're good. Go slide in, Greg. Little
God.
5'8" blocker.
Good God.
Like, I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand what I like. It's gonna have to adapt. That's what it is. Drew Petzing's gonna have to adapt and actually expand his play calling, which I was a little more optimistic in training camp when we're airing it out, which
Me
we typically
too.
do in training camp. Because it's not about running the football. You don't run the football in camp, but like it's like, oh, we're running a lot more motion. There's a lot more not like creativity, but like it's not a lot of stagnant routes anymore.
Right.
It's like everything felt like a motion, which is nice. And then Marvin Harrison's in the slot. Marvin Harrison's on the outside. It's like, what? We actually might be okay. And then you just see Drew Petzing revert back to his philosophy for whatever reason. And it's like, you got to be better. But like, it's really just up to him. If he's like, hey, it's not broken, don't fix it. We're 2-0. There's no reason to change. Like, oh, if Kyler doesn't throw that interception and we get the ball back in the second half and we're okay. Like, yeah, we should have closed it out. But these are sorry teams, and we're just letting them creep back and stay alive. Like, we're not a team that can play ahead like that. We're really not. Or we definitely can't play behind. If we play behind, it's just like we don't know what we're doing. Because now we can't scheme a receiver open. We're down 14 points.
Yeah.
Chalk it. Chalk the game.
What I also mentioned as well is I put a little blame on this on Monty as well. If I'm going to be real, like I put some blame on Monty on this. Like we all pounded the table for a potential veteran like a Keenan Allen to come in here, or maybe even getting like a wide receiver in the first round, like an Emeka Ibuka, which is absolutely playing out of his mind right now.
I was praying for it.
Yeah, and then, obviously, Matthew Golden hasn't been very great. I think right now the wide receiver that looks really good that the Cardinals had an opportunity is Emeka Ibuka, which 2 Ohio State guys would be crazy good. That'd be awesome to see, Marvin Harrison Jr. come back with his buddy. That would be cool to see. But I think in the realisticness, the Cardinals went super heavy on the defensive side of the ball, but multiple opportunities did we see Monty had an opportunity to bring somebody in, and he's like, nah, bro, I'm going to roll it back with the same wide receiving core. I don't like that decision. I really don't. And I'm not trying to come out here to act like I know better than Monty. Obviously, Monty's in this position for a reason, but like I put a little bit of blame on him too. Like if we had a veteran here that was going to give us the playmaking ability, the smart savviness of getting open for your quarterback, that would be leaps and bounds like a potential Keenan Allen that's doing really good with the Chargers right now. So I don't know, man. It's frustrating. It's a lot of finger pointing right now, and I get it. We're 2-0. We should be celebrating, but I'm a little worried when this schedule gets tougher that we're going to be seeing another deja vu moment.
I agree 100%. But let me also like to test that a little bit, because I think if we do sign a Keenan Allen, it doesn't really matter. You're plugging them into the same offense. Now, Keenan
Fair.
Allen's blocking at 33. You know what I mean? Keenan Allen's one of the best route runners in the league to this day. We know that. We know the talent he is, but it's like, does it make sense? Not really. Like Emeka Ibuka would have made a little more sense. Will Johnson would have been my pick at 16, but knowing what they knew not to take him. I guess we still got lucky. I don't know how that happened, but like if I knew how it would have felt, like fallen, obviously I would have taken Emeka Ibuka. But like me personally as a GM, I would have taken Will Johnson. But Emeka would have been so nice, and I was like, everyone's like, it's irresponsible. If I'm the GM, I would have pulled the trigger on Will Johnson, but like the Mecca Buka would have been nice. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like it fits well. Keenan Allen would have just been blocking, and he would have been that one reception. Then you're demoting Michael Wilson. You're just getting called dumb for
Yeah.
signing him. And it's like now we just. It's not like it helps,
Well,
which is it's crazy. But that's
yeah.
again, I think that's more of a scheme thing than talent.
It's a risk that they took not going after Will Johnson. That he fell to the second round. I don't think anybody expected him to do that. I mean, neither myself. I was so elated and happy that we got him at the second round and he fell in our laps, and especially because the Rams got a tight end literally a pick before us, I believe, or a few picks before us. So I'm obviously happy that we got Will Johnson, but this is not to bash Walter Nolan, but like it feels very very like this deja vu moment of Darius Robinson, and I'm not even gonna start on Darius, brother. Like I am so
Whew.
disappointed when Darius Robinson is doing right now. Like why even be on the field? Put Dante Stills in there. Like if we're really to this point right now, I'm very disappointed in Darius Robinson. Are you as well?
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of people are. I don't even want to like talk about what I've heard because like it's gonna make me sound like a terrible person. But like, there's no excuses in year two. There's no excuses. You put on the muscle, you have the off season, you're good to go. Like I need you mentally and physically checked in, and I need you to wreak havoc at some point. It's been 2 weeks, and you have been a no show at all. It's like he's not on the field. That's a first round pick, and I tried to buy in as much as possible.
Me too.
I really did. I'm really like any pick they make, even Walter Nolan. I bought in. You know why? Because until proven otherwise, we don't have a choice. He's on our team. I'm bought in, and like I know what Walter Nolan could be more than Darius Robinson. I think Walter Nolan could be fantastic. And then we come back and be like, okay, that was a smart pick. But also, I know the downside to Walter Nolan. And clearly, they looked and oversaw everything. So I'm believing in what they have and what they see and all the interviews that they had and what they discussed with Ole Miss. Like, I believe. But until
Yeah.
then, it's a little scary because it's back to back DTs with calf injuries. And it's like, is he going to come back this season and actually ball out? I don't know. I really don't know. And it's kind of concerning. I
Yeah.
don't even want to like think about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I got a few super chats that I want to get to. Hey, I got my guy Millennial Hero here with a $10 donation. Let's go. Appreciate you, man. He's saying this: the Cardinals offense keeps stalling because defenses double Marvin Harrison Jr., stack the box, and clog Kyler Murray's passing lanes. Trey McBride gets some catches, but the defense are fine with that. This it might be one of those things that they're figuring it out, man. They're figuring out the Drew Petzing offense when you do, and that's the problem. Like, and that's why I'm like, if you get into Keenan Allen, right? Like you said, it might be not smart, but having a guy like Keenan Allen on this team, it makes it a lot better to have people potentially double him as opposed to a Michael Wilson. We like Michael Wilson. We know what he can do if given the opportunity. But you bring in a Keenan
For
Allen to
sure.
this roster, it changes the dynamic of how a defense covers you because he's proven it. He's proven it for years that he can do it, and he's proving it in LA with the Chargers right now. I do like the Emeka Buka. I'm right there with you, buddy. Like I wanted to get Emeka Buka as well. That would have been a fascinating, but people are like, oh, you can't go back to back wide receivers. Well, hell, we did it with Anquan and freaking Larry, and it worked out wonders for us. But neither
Right.
here nor there. But this is a fair statement from my guy Millennial here, coming out clutch with defenses now know how to stop the Arizona Cardinals um, offensively. What say you about this?
I mean, like, I don't disagree because it's like they know we're going to run the football, and regardless, they're going to always stack the box. So, what are you going to do? You're going to have mismatches around the field, but it's like you want to run the football and get it to the tight end. I mean, that's kind of what you're doing. I also see the other super chat about Tyreek Hill, too. I think Tyreek Hill would be miserable in this scheme, and he would just crash out just like he's doing now. Tyreek Hill has to go to a team where he's getting 10 targets a game, and he wouldn't get that. He absolutely wouldn't get that because he'd be the wide receiver in terms of talent, wide receiver one on this team. And our wide receiver one now is getting 5.5 a game. I don't know if Drew Petzing would know how to use Tyreek Hill. I really don't.
Yeah.
And that's where my biggest concern is because I don't think he would know what he's doing. I
Okay.
really don't know if he'd know how to use Tyreek.
Real quick, buddy. Sorry, buddy. Justin, real quick, man. Let me get to the super chat real fast. The Cardinals have worked out cornerbacks. We're gonna get to those names right now, ladies, and we're gonna
Okay.
get to those names. We're gonna get to those names. Let me get to my guy Millennial Hero. He just say, now imagine a blockbuster trade for someone like Tyreek Hill with the speed stretching the field. The Cardinals could instantly flip the script. So here's the thing. I agree with the whole sense of, I don't know if Tyreek Hill would want to come here. I'm being real. I don't think he would want to come here, and I don't think it's a Monty Ossenfort player, right? When you think about Monty Ossenfort and the type of people he wants to bring, I don't think this is those type of players, unfortunately. Now, if it happens, I will get behind it. Like, I'm going to be real, but if it happens, I'll get behind it 110%. I don't want to, it's not that I would fall in love with the idea of it, but like, I'm not going to sell myself to believe that this is going to happen because I don't think it's a Monty Ossenfort type of guy in this locker room. We all know that kind of what he brings and the, pushing the envelope type of guy. And I don't think he would want to be here, to be real with you. If I'm going to be 110% honest, let me get to those guys real quick. You did ask me, and I asked you earlier as well, did the Arizona Cardinals work out some players? And they did. And they're all cornerbacks now. Don't expect Stephon Gilmore, right? Don't expect Stephon Gilmore, but here are the names that I'm seeing, and I confirm they are all cornerbacks. Shout out to Aaron Wilson on X and Twitter, which really good follow. He gives me a lot of the people that people are working out, but these are the names that we have here. So one of them being Andrew Booth. I got to do a little bit of deep dive. I don't know any of these guys, so don't ask me.
My.
Shamar, was that you say that? Oh, Bartholomew. What? Do you know how to say
I
that?
can't see it.
Oh, okay. Okay, this guy, and then also Iwik Boy Biodu. So this was a guy, I believe he was actually on training camp for the Cardinals. I remember this name.
He was.
The other two guys, I don't know. But the Cardinals
I don't know Shamar Bartholomew. I don't know who that is.
Bartholomew. Yeah, I can't say that name.
I don't know who that is. I know the other two, and I would not be happy with either of them, to be honest.
But this shows you this shows you what is probably going to happen.
Mindset is. Yeah, it's going to be just elevated Darren Hall and rock with what we got, which Elijah Jones taking the third round, Denzel Burke in the fifth. I mean, I guess. And Keitrell looked pretty good. So, like, I'm not worried about Keitrell being on the field. I think when he's called upon, he does really well. I think him getting more opportunity will be okay for us. But I can't talk on Shamar Bartholomew, but Andrew Booth and Boye Doe would be a little rough. I think Boye Doe would be the signing because he's been here in training camp, knows the system a little more, and has actually had reps in the defense. So unless they get blown away by the other two people, then I would assume Boye Doe would be the guy they go with. But they're going to sign somebody, I would say. And it's unfortunate because it's like, hey, we know what they're doing now.
Yeah, 100%. Unfortunately, these are the guys here. Another shout out here to Aaron Wilson here. Thank you so very much for letting us know who the Cardinals are working out. It's not names that we're going to be screaming on the table of, but it is what it is. We got a couple super chats and we'll be closing up shop here. Thank you guys for being here. By the way, smack the like button and make sure you check out Mythic AZ's channel. He's on the road to 10K. My guy Carter Knows All says, Mike, go look at what Petzing said today. Okay, I'm going to. I didn't know his press conference was out. I will go look at it once we're done with the stream. Thank you so much, Carter. Appreciate you. And then we got Millennial with another super chat. Brother, thank you so much. Saying, now imagine a... Oh, we just read this one. Did he double down with the same one? No, he didn't. Okay, I think I just... Never mind. That was it. Okay, perfect. All right, let everybody know how they can find you. I think there's some news coming on here that we probably want to both get to in terms of content-wise. Let everybody know where they can find you. We are going to close up shop right here. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so very much. But go ahead, Justin.
Mythic AZ on YouTube on the road to 10,000 subscribers. If you guys like the Cardinals, the NFL, go ahead, hit subscribe. X, I'm Mythic AZ. Instagram, it's Mythic AZ. TikTok, it's Mythic AZ as well. Go ahead. Would appreciate it if you guys drop the follow or subscribed anywhere. Much love. Appreciate you for having me on once again.
Of course, man. Every chance. I mean, I hope we can make this a weekly thing. I mean, I know you're really, really busy with what's going on over there, and we used to have the Big Red Pod. It's just with what we have going on, it just gets so hard to even cover this one team. But hopefully, we can get you on there, and hopefully, I can get on your channel at least once a week, so we can kind of, go back and forth, and hopefully talk ourselves off of bridges. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, Thank you so very much for tuning in. Smack the like button, subscribe. Make sure you check out my guy Mythic AZ here on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cardinals.